So you found a job that you think looks great. You get your resume, everything ready, you go into the system, you send in your resume, you upload your data, and it takes about 30 minutes and you get a message back saying, I'm sorry, but we're not going to be considering you for this position. But you know that you're a really great fit. What do you do? Well, this is one of the questions that we asked our HR leadership in our recent HR survey. What we wanted to know is what happens if you apply against a role and you get rejected by what appears to be the applicant tracking system and you think you're a really great match for the role. What should you do? Hello, job seekers. Melanie here with CGL Recruiting. And again, this is some of the data that we're sharing from the HR survey that we did, trying to get you job seekers as much information as we possibly can to help you with your job search. Now, before I get into this, if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing that now. Connect with me on LinkedIn, follow us on our other platforms. And if you feel like this data is helpful, please give us that thumbs up. And I'd love to see a comment from you down below. We answer each and every one, and it's always great to interact with everyone. All right, let's take a look at this information. So when we ask the question, if a candidate gets a rejection letter from an ATS system, but truly believes the role is an excellent match for their skills and experience, how should they proceed? Let me take myself out of the stream so you can see this a little bit bigger on your screen. What we saw, this large 75% of respondents said, reach out to a member of the organization. If you feel like you're a good fit, 75% are saying go for it. Reach out to someone to see if you can get somebody to re-look at your information. Now, coming in second with 9%, this yellow here is accept the decision of the ATS system and not apply again. I would rather have those 75 versus 9 odds any day. And then we did see this other green, this 8% was apply again for the position using a different method. And then this last 8% was other. This had a lot of variety of different answers in it, saying things like, it depends on the position, it depends on how many things we have open, it depends on the qualifications. There was tons of other data in that other little section. But let's focus on that big 75% that said you should reach out to somebody else within the organization. And let's even back up a little further. What are some reasons that you could get rejected from the ATS system that quickly? Now, the applicant tracking systems generally do not reject you on their own unless there are questions that have been set up that you have answered. Like, for example, when I post a position on LinkedIn, LinkedIn allows me, as do the other systems, to say certain questions. Like, for example, do you have a degree, a bachelor's degree in engineering? And you have to answer either yes or no. And that then is going to have what you don't see behind the scenes is the ATS there is programmed that if you say yes, you go through. If you say no, and I've made it not a preference, but a requirement question, then it will actually make the decision on your application right there and push you off and say no. And say, thank you very much for applying, but we're not going to consider you. We have the option, any HR recruiter, talent acquisition sourcer has the option of setting up their things like that with those gating questions. Now, the problem with those is, and why they have to be so careful with those gating questions is, let's say that you don't have a bachelor's degree, but you have 30 years of experience. And so it may be something that you are incredibly qualified for, but the applicant tracking system is saying no just because the way it's been set up by the person who set up the job posting. So in a case like that, you still definitely would want to apply and go back and say, hey, can you consider me? And that's why we have that 75% coming back saying, reach out to somebody within the organization. Now, there are other things, though, that I would say, when you do reach out to somebody in the organization, you want to make sure you're doing it for something that you're actually going to have a chance. So let's say, for example, a position is posted in Houston, Texas. And in the posting, it says, we are only looking at local candidates at this time. And one of the questions it asks you is, are you local to this area? And you say no, then it's going to rule you out. Well, even if you reach out to somebody, if that's a requirement, you're either local or you're not going to have as much of a chance. So you do need to be a little, careful. If you got ruled out really quick by the ATS because of one of those gating questions that was set up, then you need to understand, is it something that you think you have, like you're willing to relocate yourself at your own expense, and therefore you think it's still worthwhile for you to apply. So those are the type of things that you need to take in consideration. But job seekers, it's very possible that the person who put in that question just didn't think it through enough and didn't think, I would love to have somebody with 30 years of experience. And the reality is the degree might be a preference rather than a firm requirement. So in that case, 75% of them are telling you, reach out to somebody within the organization to see if you're still a fit. I hope this data was helpful for you, job seekers. As always, please give us that thumbs up if you feel that it was. If you have other experience or other comments that you would like to add to this, please put it down below. We always love hearing from you, and we respond to each and every one. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.